So Avatar: The Way of Water released, and let's just say it's making a few bucks. Now we all knew this movie was destined to be one of the highest grossing movies of all time, and it has already made its way firmly into the top 20, and it's only been out for like a couple weeks. My friend Charles says it's probably going to enter the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time, and he's a big boy, so I trust him. Now some people don't want to admit that this movie is succeeding. For some reason that I don't particularly know, they don't want this movie to do well. We made a video on this topic over on the Fandom Initiative channel, which you should definitely check out if you're tired of all this anti-woke sentiment on YouTube. But yeah, I just wanted to give my own take on the situation too. I mean, just look at the journey RK Outpost went on through the release of Avatar. Firstly, James Cameron was worried the movie wouldn't break even, and here Ryan was already priming his audience for the flop angle. Then, before the movie comes out, it's going to be the biggest flop of all time. However, then they also have the better than Marvel angle set up. Then right back to the movie flopping, and then some woke critics get destroyed. Ooh, and then some activists called the movie cultural appropriation. Now we can double down on the woke argument. But then Avatar destroys Marvel. Haha, what a loss for Disney. They must be panicking right now. But then back to it being woke. This dude really will just sell his soul for his integrity to gain a little bit of clout and money. But I guess some people would call that an alpha male move. But it's not just Ryan Kinnell, we also have Geeks and Gamers with this incredibly coherent video title. And we have Yellow Flash's completely sane reaction to the movie. And generally there are just a lot of people questioning the success of this movie, which, just for reiteration, the movie is doing really well at the box office. That doesn't mean it's necessarily a good movie, we'll get to that in a bit, but the numbers at the box office after 2 weeks are looking pretty positive. But yeah, I just wanted to bring attention to some of these takes because there's no consistency. It's all just an act, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Now obviously dumb takes like these don't really matter, except for the fact that they do matter because they promote this idea that wokeism is ruining everything, which is an idea that's shared by a lot of people, sadly even people with actual power. But these arguments rarely ever provide any meaningful discourse, it's just a buzzword used to send a political message. And so the arguments that people like these make should still not be taken seriously, because they don't care about actually making a solid point. They just want to get their clicks and their money, and they don't give a crap about who they screw over along the way. I mean, the amount of backtracking these people do is insane. First, the movie is going to be woke, and oh, James Cameron said some stuff. His movie is going to flop, and then the movie comes out and its opening weekend is great, but also not very good, and then the movie was bad, but then now it's outperforming Marvel movies, so screw Disney. Oh, and also you're not supposed to think about the fact that Disney also owns 20th Century Studios, which made Avatar, because that would contradict my whole argument. So yeah, in case you needed any more reasons why these anti-woke hate channels are dumb and inconsistent, then I guess you've come to the right place, because I'm not going to stop calling it out. Now, the movie's box office is one thing, however the quality of the movie is another thing, and it's something I want to talk about. Now, the reception to this movie has overall been very positive, but I've also seen a lot of people say that they don't think it's necessarily that great, and I think it's absolutely alright for someone to not like this movie, because personally I think there are parts of it that definitely can be criticized. Of course, it's also alright to like it, which I overall did. For example, first and foremost, I think the movie is a visual marvel. The movie is very beautiful, and it's been a while since I've seen a big CGI-filled movie in the cinema where almost all of it looks flawless. It's a nice change of pace. However, I don't think the movie outdoes the first one in terms of its impressiveness. Personally, I like the story and the characters in this one better, but while the visuals are gorgeous, it didn't challenge my thoughts of what technology could do in movies like the first one did. And perhaps that wasn't the point. I'm just glad we got to return to Pandora, because I actually like this world. And I like the story, which isn't something I said before watching the sequel, but now I'm pretty much on board. I also thought the movie was pretty well paced. I didn't feel bored at any time, which was a risk since the movie is so long. However, I thought they did a really good job of switching in between long periods of world and character building, and then the exciting action. Some scenes I do believe came out of the blue or end very suddenly, and That did take me out of the immersion a little bit, but overall I was very invested all the way throughout. However, my favorite part of the movie was the characters. I'm completely sold on Jake and Neytiri's family. I like the children, I think the dynamic is really strong, and I think the themes of family are very well done. Because this movie is emotional and it managed to grip me. I felt a sort of connection to these characters. So while overall I enjoyed the movie and definitely understand why it's succeeding, there are some things that hold it back for me. For example, the dialogue is not very good in my opinion. I don't think James Cameron or the people who otherwise write his movies are necessarily great when it comes to writing dialogue. A lot of the conversations feel a bit stiff or awkward, and this is by no means a big problem. It was just very noticeable in certain scenes. Oh, so Jake Sully full-on talks like an anime protagonist, which I don't mind, but it is a little bit difficult to take him seriously when he's out here monologuing like I did when I was an emo kid in high school. The movie is also very clearly a typical big-budget movie, and maybe it's my fault for thinking it would be more like Dune, and less like an MCU movie, because there are just a lot of these typical big CGI blockbuster cliches in this movie, like the random ass jump scares that have no purpose and that make you feel kinda icky, and the jokes during the serious moments, like the girls saying, "Oh darn it, how did I end up here again?" The sad part is that people in my theater actually laughed at this, or perhaps I'm the sad part for being angry at other people's happiness. Am I the problem? Probably. We also had the typical death of a loved one, in which we saw them get away from danger, but then oh no, they were actually shot. I wasn't expecting a child to die though, so it isn't all that predictable. And listen, I'm not saying these things are necessarily bad. You all know how much I love MCU movies, but I just think that the movie feels very much like a thing of the past 10 years, which of course makes sense since it was written like a decade ago. Overall, this movie is a very typical blockbuster movie, but it does it really well. And I want to stress that this is a pretty good movie. I certainly enjoyed my time a lot, and I'm excited for more Avatar movies. Also, the next one is supposedly about a fire tribe. I can't believe he's been recreating Avatar The Last Airbender this whole time, and we had no idea. However, what did you think of the movie? Leave all your thoughts down below, and subscribe to both me and the Fandom Initiative if you want more content like this. Also, I hope you all had a wonderful holiday, if you had a holiday of course, and a happy new year. Here's to the best 2023 any of us have ever experienced. Also, thank you to my Patreons, but other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, stay safe and peace out.